All right, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful and honestly simplest tools you have for your electronics projects. We're going to learn how to have a direct conversation with your ESP32 board, which is going to open up a whole new world of control and debugging. Let's get right into it.
You know, it might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's totally real. You, sitting at your computer, can type out commands and send data straight to the tiny little brain on your project board.
And that's the real question, isn't it? I mean, sending a command is one thing, but getting a response, actually seeing data and knowing your board heard you, that's where the magic happens. And the answer is, absolutely. Yes, they can. Okay, so check this out. This is the magic trick we're aiming for today. We're going to build a project where you type a simple word, just on, into your computer, and a physical LED on your board just lights up. This is your first real step into making things interactive. So, what's the secret sauce here? How do we actually make this happen? Well, we use a built-in tool that's like a direct hotline to our board. So let's properly introduce the serial monitor. The easiest way to think about it is like a text message window for your ESP32. It's a little pop-up right inside the Arduino software where you can type things to your board and, just as important, see what your board is trying to say back to you. And this thing is a total workhorse. I mean, you can use it for so much. You can watch live temperature readings from a sensor, you can tell a motor when to spin, or, and this is a big one for every coder, you can use it to figure out what's going wrong with your code. You just print out your variables and see what they're doing. It's an absolutely essential debugging tool. All right, so before we can start this conversation, we've got to set a few ground rules and open up the line of communication. Let's walk through exactly how to get that set up.
First up, the physical stuff. Just plug your ESP32 into your computer with a USB cable. Easy enough. Then, inside the Arduino IDE, you have to make sure you've told it which board you're using and which COM port it's on. Once that's done, you just click that little magnifying glass icon up in the top right corner, and that'll pop open the serial monitor window. Now for the code side of things. And here it is. This is the one line of code that kicks everything off. You stick this, serial begin, right inside your setup function. It's like the magic handshake that tells your ESP32, hey, wake up and start listening.
So what about that number 115200? Well, that's called the baud rate. It's just a fancy way of saying the speed of the conversation. It's super important that both your computer and your ESP32 agree to talk at the exact same speed. Otherwise, it's all just going to be garbage.
And you'll see different boards use different speeds. The ESP32 is usually pretty zippy at 115 to 100. An older Arduino Uno might be way down at 9600. The big takeaway here, and you got to remember this, is that the number in your code has to match the number you pick in the serial monitor window. No exceptions.
Okay, connection's open. Now for the fun part. Let's get that first little victory and make the board talk back to us. This is how we'll know for sure that everything's working.
And the command is super easy. It's just serial.println. Whatever text you stick inside those parentheses and quotes, that's what your ESP32 is going to send back to your computer. That ln at the end just means line, so it adds an enter key at the end to keep things tidy.
So you upload that code, you open the monitor, and boom! Hello World pops up. That's the moment. That's when you know your communication channel is wide open and you're in business.
Awesome. So we know the board can talk to us, but now let's turn the tables. Let's talk to it and make it do something in the real world. Time to control that LED.
Just a couple of quick setup lines first. We need to create a variable to hold the pin number for the built-in LED, which on most boards is pin 2. Then, in setup, we use pin mode to say, hey, this pin is an output. We're going to be sending power out of it.
Okay, so inside our main loop, the code is constantly asking one simple question, over and over. Got anything new for me? Has the computer sent anything? This serial.available check makes sure we only run our code when there's actually a new message to read.
So, if the answer to that question is yes, the next thing we do is actually read the message. We use serial.readString to scoop up whatever text you sent, and we just stuff it into a variable we're calling CMD.
And this is it. This is the brain of the operation. The code just looks at that CMD variable and asks, does this text say exactly on? If it does, bam, digital write sends power to the LED pin and the light turns on. You could easily add another if statement to check for off and turn it low. And that's it. The code's done. Upload it, open up that monitor, and give it a try. Type on in that little box at the top, hit enter, and watch that LED pop on. Type off, hit enter, and it goes out. So cool, right? You're now controlling hardware with your keyboard.
Okay, before we finish, I have to share this one thing. Seriously, this is the pro tip that's going to save you so much time and frustration down the road when you run into this problem.
So imagine this. You send on. You know you spelled it right, your code looks perfect. But nothing. The LED just sits there, dark. What is going on? This happens to everyone.
The culprit is an invisible character. See, by default, the serial monitor is often set to new line. This means when you press enter, it doesn't just send on, it sends on plus an invisible enter key character. But your code is looking for exactly on, so it doesn't find a match. The fix is so simple. Just change that little drop-down menu in the monitor to no line ending. Now it sends a clean command, and it just works.
So there you have it. You now have this superpower. You can have a direct, two-way conversation with your projects. You can get data from them, and you can give them commands to control the world around them. It is a foundational skill. So the real question is, what are you going to build with it? What's the first thing you're going to tell your next project to do?